I cannot believe that we have made it to what is basically April without me bringing you my top 10 best and worst movies of the year, but I figured it's a whole better late than never situation. So let's talk about my favourite movies that I watched in the cinema in 2023. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content here on this channel every week and then movie reviews here at the weekend. I am currently away and so I know there's going to be a gap in movie reviews, so perfect time for me to bring you my top 10 best and worst movies that I saw in 2023. These are movies that I have to have seen at the cinema, and I have reviews of all of these movies on my channel, so I will leave my movie reviews playlist linked right here, and we'll try and link as many as I can in the links and in the description box below. All of my movie reviews are spoiler free, so if you haven't seen any of these, you can go ahead and watch those reviews if you want to see them for yourself. So, top 10, these are in no particular order. They're semi in chronological order, I think, of when I saw them. So my first one is one that actually I wanted to rewatch and haven't had the chance to yet, because obviously it came onto Amazon Prime fairly quickly after I watched it. But this one is Air, which tells the story of the Air Jordans, and it's set in and around where Nike is in Beavertown in Oregon, which is the place that I stayed when I went to visit Oregon. And so we would drive past the Nike entrance every single day. So that was cool, so seeing that on display. But it also has a stellar cast, and even though it features Michael Jordan, it's not about him. We don't hear him speak really, and it's more about his mother and about the designers at Nike and the evolution of the Air Jordan. And I love a biopic, and you will probably see that through my list here of top 10. So that definitely made it onto the list. Highly recommend, and I'll leave my whole review linked for you, so you can see exactly why I liked it. The next sort of 4 or 5 on my list, I think, aren't going to come as any surprise, because they were quite big movies in themselves, / they fall under that Disney umbrella. I'm sat here filming this whilst wearing a Disneyland Spirit jersey with my Mickey nails and my Mickey tattoo that you can't quite see. Let's get it on camera. Here we go. So these are not going to be any surprise whatsoever. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I don't know anyone who watched this and didn't cry. I cried about 5 times. Even the lads in my class admitted to watching this and crying and being a bit sad about it. And it was just a really good time. I haven't rewatched it because I thought it was great watching it on the big screen. I don't think, want to put myself through the emotion of it on the small screen. However, it's one that I would consider watching if they were in order and I could watch them on a plane. Just putting that out there. I find watching something on a plane quite an intimate experience, and I don't mind crying whilst watching something on a plane either, especially if I'm on my own. And then we've got Elemental, which I managed to watch twice in the cinema and have also watched twice on Disney Plus. So you know that this is, a firm favourite of mine, given the fact that it only came out halfway through 2023 and I managed to watch it 4 times. I just thought it was a really nice film. It had a really nice message. It definitely gave me Inside Out vibes, and just thinking about it now makes me super excited to watch Inside Out 2. I feel like that will probably end up on my top 10 movies of 2024 playlist. And then we've got the big two that were big 2 at the Oscars and big 2 of the summer. I watched them back to back. I then ended up rewatching one of them in the same 4-day weekend as I rewatched the other one. We've got Barbie and we've got Oppenheimer. I thought they were both fantastic. I really, really loved them. I love the fact that they built up this whole rivalry. It made it a whole event going to the cinema to go and watch them both. And I did do them back to back, and I did Oppenheimer first and Barbie second, and then I can't remember, I watched a third one in the evening. I can't remember what it was, because Oppenheimer and Barbie got in there first, and I just really enjoyed them. And watching Ryan Gosling perform Ken live at the Oscars, and also watching the Oscar winning song, again, spoiler for the Oscars, no spoiler for Barbie, being performed at the Oscars like really hit differently, because I really did love this film. And they're coming to Sky fairly soon, both of them, and I think that we will definitely end up, well, rewatching Barbie for me, but rewatching Oppenheimer for both of us. And yeah, seeing Oppenheimer in IMAX again was really good as well. It was such a good experience watching it in IMAX, and I took people to see it that hadn't seen it, and so that was really good as well, because we could all sort of talk about it afterwards and talk about the fact, me talk about the differences seeing it in IMAX too. So that was really cool. Another film that I saw on the big screen twice was the new Haunted Mansion film. I haven't seen it talked about enough on here, I don't think. I obviously am a huge Haunted Mansion fan. I think I was going to wear my Haunted Mansion spirit jersey when I went to see it. However, it was too hot. But I do have a Haunted Mansion t-shirt that I did wear, and the person next to me clocked it, and I love that. And I have my Haunted Mansion ears, my Haunted Mansion hoodie. Like, I am a big fan of Haunted Mansion, and I still absolutely love and have also rewatched the Muppets Haunted Mansion, and it may have made my list on a previous year, even though it was a Disney Plus original and not the cinema. But I just thought it was really good. I would like to rewatch this one. It might be something, although I'm more likely to do the Muppets one, that I download to rewatch on my way to Disney, as I am literally right now. So yeah, Haunted Mansion, definitely one. And then coming back to 3 biopics now. I don't know. Obviously, my brain was working in the way of like, we must group your movies into the kind of movies as you're making this top 10 list. Dumb Money, which is about the GameStop stock market scandal hoo-ha. I don't think it was really a scandal, to be fair. But that whole thing that kicked off on Reddit and then moved into like mainstream media. I absolutely loved watching that film. I just thought it was so entertaining. It was so kind of thought-provoking, and it did explain what was going on fairly well, because I was, on the peripheries of like knowing what was going on thanks to people talking about it online, but I didn't really get it. And watching the film again, I got it, but a little bit like Haunted Mansion, I just don't think there was enough people talking about it. I just think that it just was in the cinema for about a week, and then it went, and then I've not seen it online being talked about at all. So, Dumb Money, one of my top 10 films of 2023. Then another biopic, one that I literally saw as my last film of 2023, and that was Ferrari. And again, I thought that this would get Oscar nominations, but I think that they maybe posted it in the wrong window to be considered, or it got released in the US too early to be considered. I don't know. Something obviously went on there, because this is the first film where I watched Penelope Cruz and I was like, oh my goodness, she deserves an Oscar nomination for this one, because she gets so many Oscar nominations for other things. And it was just, it featured Adam Driver, featured Patrick Dempsey, Penelope Cruz was revelatory. And it was just kind of edge of your seat stuff the entire way through. It was really enjoyable. It was really entertaining. It was quite surprising, quite shocking at parts. And then there was other bits where you were just like, I didn't know that Ferrari was that type of guy. Interesting. And sort of made you want a teeny tiny cup of coffee to have with it as well. And then the third biopic that I watched as a Limitless screening and really enjoyed, and then I just sort of never saw it come out for general release. Again, I'm sure it did, and it was one of these ones that had a week's release and I just wasn't around in that week. I know it is online now, and I really recommend it because, oh my goodness, it was so nostalgic. And so like, yes, I remember this BlackBerry coming out. Yes, I remember the launch of this BlackBerry. Yes, I remember when they were actually a real competitor with iPhone, and it was just really good as well. It took you through things at a nice pace. You understood what was going on, and you were kind of like rooting for the underdog in a way, even though you know how the story like ends, even though it's not ended. But yeah, it's definitely something I would like to rewatch. Speaking of things I would like to rewatch, we're going to end with a bit of a comedy that I didn't think I would like as much as I did, and that is Joyride, which is streaming on Amazon now. So I would like to rewatch it on Amazon. I saw the trailer for it and I thought this is going to be a bit silly but good, and I went to see it with my mum, and again it was a limitless screening, and we just laughed our way through it. It was so much more entertaining than I thought it would be. I thought it would verge on the silly rather than the actually funny and entertaining and girl power, and like I'm enjoying this. It was a little bit stressful in parts with travel issues and people not knowing where their passports were, which bugs me an awful lot because I know exactly where my passport is at any time. I can tell you exactly where it is right now, like the room, the bag, the pocket in that bag, / the room, the folder, the location in that folder, wherever it is. So that stressed me out a little bit. But I really, really enjoyed it. And again, I think it didn't get the representation because it was definitely marketed as something that's a little bit silly and a little bit like, and it was actually really good and thought-provoking and girl powery, and I enjoyed it. And yeah, I just thought it was a good time, and it made my top 10 list of 2023. So, as I say, better late than never. Check out the playlist for full reviews of all 10 films I have talked about, and please make sure that you are subscribed and hit that notification bell so that you get notified when I post my top 10 least favourite films of 2023, which will be next weekend. Let me know in the comments what made your top 10 of 2023, or if there's anything in 2024 that you've seen that you know is going to be on the list for next year. I will be back with another video very soon, so I will see you then. Thanks for watching.